Hey everyone, Chris here from RealRideshareStories. If you're new to the channel and you're looking for different things within the rideshare industry, whether it's news, tips and tricks for passengers and drivers, or what actually happens on real rideshare rides, start now by hitting that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. So a very interesting piece of information came out of Uber and news actually, and that is the ability for drivers to set their own rates. Now this is in California and they're test marketing it in 3 different markets. So it's small airports. They're not trying to do this in major spots yet. What's up, Ace, Uberman Tampa, Dylan, N Porter, Pat, Passionate Patriot? How is everybody doing tonight? But yeah, so if you haven't watched the video yet, I'll give a quick brief breakdown of it. But yeah, they're going to allow drivers to set their own rates, where Uber is testing this in 3 small markets, and it's only at airports going from the airport out. And you have the ability as a driver to increase your own rate up to 5 times the amount that Uber is expected, where you can raise that rate by 10% increments. So what do you guys think? It won't work. Yeah, you know what? Who knows? I mean, one of the weirdest things is, or what it really is going to do, or what it seems like it's going to do, is it's going to take all of the blame from Uber for paying low rates and then putting it back on the drivers themselves, where they think, oh, hey, you are able to set your own rates. That's fine. And that's what you're going to be able to do. You can raise your own rate if you want, but you know, you're not raising it, so we can't do anything about that. So that's kind of the issue that I see there. But if they were smart, because most people will probably keep it at a default, so if anything happens, they'll probably default it or maybe slide it up. But what they should do, which is smart for both Uber and the driver, is do it at a 1.5x or somewhere right around that range. Maybe a little, maybe even just a touch higher than that, where that's the default setting. So then most people will leave it there. And that's because then Uber will not only allow drivers to make more at that point by having it at default setting, but they will actually also make more money because of that 25% cap. So they're able to raise rates for themselves then at that point. So that's just a little trick that they could put in there. So if anybody from Uber's watching that or watching this, put it at 1.5% as a or 1.5x as the default setting, at least in my opinion. It's a bunch of BS. Yeah, we could see that. Everyone will chase the cheapest rides. You know what? The only thing is, Uberman Tampa, with that might not be the case, only because you got to remember that passengers don't see what the actual fare is going to be. All they're doing is they're going to set up what it's the lowest person in the area. So if you're at the airport and you're at the queue, it probably isn't going to be really the queue that you see right now. It's probably going to go price, then queue. So if your price is lowest, then you're going to get the first ride. If the price then starts going up, so it'll do that queue. But if you're tied with somebody at the same rate, then you're probably going to be like backed up into a queue at that point. But yeah, so drivers and passengers kind of won't have that little bit of difference when it comes to what a driver can charge versus what the passenger will see. It might get more people that wants to wait at airport. At Western New York, you can get a ping in 5 minutes. Yeah, you could get you can get it. Well, I mean, at the airport at Buffalo, you're not gonna. I mean, what is it? I think like 30 to 35 people are there because it's not a big airport. But it just depends on where you are. Some airports you'll see like 200 people sitting there waiting. Jay Tinney, yes, Western New York. What's up, Vegas? How you doing? But yeah, would you guys, first off, let me ask you, what would you do if you could change the rate? Would you put it up? Would you put that scale up and then try to get a higher rate? Or would you keep it at the default setting, which will probably be at the lowest rate that what Uber would expect it to be? What would you do? Where would you go with that? I mean, for me personally, I would kind of think about it. I think maybe at the beginning, I would start it at maybe at the rate or just a little bit higher. So it's not too much higher, but that's when I would start working for a clientele and seeing if you can get a clientele through passengers and kind of create some business yourself where they can request you and things like that. And all it is just a new strategy to try to make more money. Because once you have a certain clientele, and if you're able to use that clientele and make some money, you can raise your own rates up a little bit higher, where now, over time, everything goes up because of inflation. So now my rate inflates up because, hey, I got to pay for other things, whatever's going on. So you keep it at the cheapest, Uber in Tampa. What, Q? Those airports are super small. Yeah, some of them are. 200 waiting at any time. Hey, Aideen Timberlake just subscribed. Problem is there's so many alternatives. Yeah, there could be. I mean, Lyft hasn't changed anything yet, so everything is going to be pretty much the exact same, at least in California. But it is pretty interesting to see because that was kind of one of the biggest holdups on this whole AB5 thing, is saying if drivers are really independent contractors or not, and the ability to put rates out there to what they want to drive. That's really where they kind of have to be. Unfortunately, they're going to put it in a way where you're going to be pinged for the cheapest ride, and then it's going to go up from there depending on what's going on around. Again, this is only for the airports. This isn't for just out and about for normal driving. So it'll be interesting to see too how they differentiate between the two, because when you're out driving, can you really do that where you have the lowest fare that you're paired with in a particular area, or does it have to be within a certain mileage, or however that's going to work? But I'm sure that's probably something that they're working on, and they're probably started at the airports just to see how it would work. And then they wanted to have minimal impact, as what an Uber spokesman had said. Maybe the Palm Springs during Coachella. Well, that'd be pretty interesting to see at that point. Everybody just bump it up to 5x. And then the question is, will they have surge as well? Special event will work and make sure the Lyft is not there. Hey, who knows what'll happen? But yeah, so what else do you guys think? Would you put people, or would you change your rates if you had the ability to? And I mean, would it create new strategies for you? At least when driving and stuff. But either way, yeah, it's pretty interesting to see what's going to happen, what's going on, and a lot of different things like that. So I'm pretty interested to see. Hey, Chell, what's going on? But yeah, I'm really interested to see. I want to try it out. I want to see what it looks like. If there's anybody in those areas that have, been in there, either maybe seen the scale or whatnot, or how it's working, if you want to send screenshots or something to me, I'd love to know what's going on. And also if there's anything more within news and things like that, because that area is probably going to know first over anybody else if it's going to work or not. You just want to know where you're going if it's a 45-minute trip. Yeah, that would be great. And just knowing where it is, whether it's, down the street or, an hour or two away, that would be great to know so you can make better decisions. Those things hopefully will be coming to all markets. But right now they're only in the California, entire state of California market. Due to that legislation that passed and became law in January. So it's going to be interesting, and I hope I do hope that those changes do go to all drivers, where they take no emphasis on acceptance rate. And if you accept or deny rides, that's up to you without any repercussions or anything like that. Same thing with knowing the pickup and drop off or the expected fare. Any of that information should be all over the country and not just in the state of California. So I am hoping that they will bring that out to all markets, actually. But yeah, I mean those long rides. But the only thing is though too that where there's some issues or problems is if the passenger orders a ride for a certain drop-off location, and then after they ping and are paired with the driver, then they can adjust where that pickup or drop-off location is, and it could be really far away or it could be right down the street. So they can kind of gimmick what it'll look like for drivers. And I'm hoping that to get around that, they might see any change in drop-off, at least for the people in California who can see pickup and drop-off. But I'm not sure if that really is happening yet or not. So Augusta, Georgia, Uber's been running $3 promos during certain busy hour daily. Well, that's not too bad. I mean, $3, I guess, is $3 extra, right? What is that, for like 3 rides or something? They're just trying to get more drivers out at that point, probably. That's what they're really trying to do. Before, when they were doing certain quests or certain promos or things like that, it would be for just getting drivers to get out and drive, period. Now that they have a lot of drivers, they're trying to get them to drive at certain times where it's probably going to be busy or there's not a lot of drivers out at that time. But I don't really know that market, so I can't really say. I know at least in my market, that's how the transition has happened. Because it used to be where they would give out certain quests or bonuses and promotions and things along that nature. But you've seen them switch to just go to certain time frames now. So unfortunately, that does happen, but you know, you don't want to attract too many new drivers just because if you live in a very saturated market like there are some, you're not going to be making as much money as you were before when there were less rides being given by less drivers out there. Uber never changes things unless it benefits them. Yeah, I agree. And that's why I said that this whole thing is kind of the same exact thing where they can take the blame from themselves for low pay and put it on the drivers by saying, hey, you had the ability to change if you wanted to go to a higher pay rate. You had that ability, but you never did anything. So we can't do anything about that. It's your call. So it's taking that blame off. But the thing is, if you can use it for your advantage by creating new strategies, then it could be worth it for you if you can find those new strategies and kind of see how it works in real world examples. So many out though, you can't catch a ping. Yeah, it's slow right now. I mean, it's slow all over the place for most markets, I should say. Not all of them, but for several, it's pretty slow out there. It's real slow out here as well too. You know, it's just that time of the year. It's not too busy. Hopefully this weekend though, it'll pick up a little bit more now that schools are back in session, things like that. So people are going to be wanting rides. It's actually starting to get colder out now too. Before it wasn't too cold, so it'll be pretty interesting. I always say that. It's always interesting. I'm always wondering what's coming. Where I reside now, they offer very little promos. Sorry to hear. Yeah, unfortunately, that can happen as well too. Hey, Rideshare Lisa, what's going on? How you doing? Is this channel based in LA? No, no, it's not. I am in Buffalo, New York. So quite the opposite side of the country. No, I just follow a lot of things in California, especially with the way the laws are and how things have changed out there. And then New York State looks like they're going to be the next state that could have some sort of issue when it comes to AB5 like legislation. So it's going to be interesting for me, at least, also to see what could happen. Not too much, Lisa. What's going on? I'm a liar. How am I a liar? I'd like to know. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Um, Problem is, power is always in the hands of the consumer. Yeah, it can be. But again, if they don't see what the rate is, they can't tell if they're getting a higher rate than normal or not, depending on the driver. So there's something that they have to kind of figure out there, at least in terms of how it's going to work. Because, like I said, at the airport, that's one thing, but when you're out actually driving outside of the airport, that's going to be a whole different thing. So it's just the nature of the beast and how they're going to work it out, if they're going to be able to work it out. Lisa and the Cult Jam. But yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm in London. Oh, yes, I am having tea with the Queen. No. But London, yeah, that's pretty cool, crazy what happened with Uber in London. And then Colombia getting kicked out there. So yeah, some crazy stuff going out in the world, and especially with the Uber front of everything. But yeah, I mean, now, did you guys have any questions or comments or anything? I wanted to keep this a little bit short. So if you guys have any questions or comment or anything, let me know, or write it in the chat section, so we can kind of do that right now. But yeah, that's all I had to really say is, it's the next step, I guess you could say, in Uber trying to, create more of an independent contractor atmosphere versus employee by giving drivers the ability to change rates. Like I said in the video, I do like it. I think it's good, but I think that there needs to be tweaks to it. I think the default should just be 1.5x of the normal rate, so then drivers can collect more money, and feel comfortable that that is the default rate. And then if they want to increase, they have that ability to as well. And also, it would truly behoove Uber to be able to have a default at a 1.5x, only because then if they're capped at a 25% fee, they'll be able to collect more money at a 1.5x ride versus a 1.0x ride. So it would just be smart for them, and that would be in their benefit. Uber or DoorDash thoughts? Mike, are you asking about Uber or Uber Eats or them both together? Because I'll say Uber all day long, but I'll say no way to Uber Eats. I don't drive for Uber Eats anymore. I did it when it first came here, when they were offering good promotions for it. Now it's just not worth it. But a lot of other people do Uber Eats as well, and it can be worth it for them. DoorDash, I don't have too much knowledge in that arena because I've never done it before. So I can't really give you any of that information, but I know Rideshare Lisa could probably tell you, if DoorDash or Uber would be better that way, because I know she does both. So, Postmates or Grubhub. Again, not my area expertise there. Have you ever tried to fill in time gaps with Postmates and DoorDash? No, honestly, I haven't, because normally when I do go out, I'm pretty busy for the most part. There are certain times when it's quiet, and that's a time where I might get back to comments on YouTube or something like that, where I'm able to kind of use that time for doing other things besides. But always filling in time by using other apps is a smart way to go, because if you're on multiple apps, you have the ability to get either rides or deliveries or whatever it might be, at a more opportune time. So that means you probably have a better chance of being on and working versus sitting around waiting. So yeah, I do suggest using multiple apps, whether it's DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Uber, Lyft, anything else really out there. It's all up to you if you want to use it or not. Where's the bacon? uh, and I can only do it in New Hampshire. I can't even go to Massachusetts where I can make money. All I can do there is Uber Eats. Can you do Lyft? because I know Lyft you can go into multiple states. Sorry, I can't speak. Usually border states you're able to go in no problem. So I would check with Lyft if you're not a Lyft driver already and see if you're able to do that, because at least you could probably make some money going there, where you can go drive in Massachusetts, make some money, and then also have Uber Eats on and some of the other platforms as well too to make some money. Um, what did I think of Omer's video? Which one? The one where he was walking? It was pretty funny. I'm not sure if that's the one you mean, but if that's the one, yeah. Lisa is a true hustler. Yes, she is. She comes to Buffalo. She's in central New York, but she'll come out to Buffalo every once in a while on weekends to hustle out here too, because she's always out hustling. So I heard there's a new company coming out. It's called Zoom Rider. I'll have to look into it. I haven't heard that. So yeah, I'll definitely have to look into that. Send them to you. Wait, send what to you, Lisa? Hmm? Send them to you what? I'm so lost. I do Lyft and you go to Massachusetts, but you start with Uber in New Hampshire because Lyft is not really used. Oh, okay. And you live on the border. Okay. I'm surprised that Uber isn't in both, in being that close to the border. I mean, granted, people in New York, like in White Plains and that, can't drive in Connecticut anymore. Oh, your channel. Oh yes, yes, Lisa. If you want to check out some things on delivery, whether it's Postmates or DoorDash or anything, yes, Rideshare Lisa. She does all that. She's putting out content as well now. You could go over, check out her channel, subscribe as well to it. If you want Lisa to put a link in the description or in the chat right now, so people can go check your channel out and subscribe. But yeah, if you have any questions there, she can definitely help you out when it comes to some of the delivery apps. Because like I said, I usually kind of don't go towards the delivery apps, but that's just me. I like to drive people around. It seems that it's much more lucrative for me. But yeah, like I said, during downtimes, that's a great way to make some extra money as well, or continue to stay busy. Um, like they always want Like they always say, power is giving, control is taking. Uber is giving up some power to the driver, but they're really taking control over us. Yeah, that's very true. I can definitely agree with that. They're giving certain things up, but it's kind of like a smokescreen almost, because most people will keep it at the low rate. Most people probably might be nervous or scared to put it up because they might think that they won't get rides or whatever. But I mean, if people start putting it up and drivers are putting that up to a certain rate, whether it's like 1.5, 1.8, 2 times the normal rate or what Uber would charge, then, you know, that's when you could start making money. And if several drivers do that in the area, or a majority of drivers, then you're going to get more pay and you're still going to continue to get rides no matter what. So it's really going to be up to you what you want to do. I have a rock with your name on it. Whoa. But yeah, that's Lisa's channel right there in the chat. So if you want to go check that out, you definitely can. Thanks for the response. No problem, Lindsay. I hope I'm saying your name right. I do see that over the I, so I'm not sure if that's correct or not. So I do apologize if that's not correct. But yeah, if you guys have any other last minute questions or anything, put it in. Like I said, it's going to be a shorter chat and live stream for today. Risky biz. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit shorter of live stream today. Wasn't planning on too much. But yeah, it's been a long day. All I got to say is the kid woke up very early and I went to sleep late last night. So I'm a little tired right now. And I've been on the computer working a lot for tomorrow's video, which is going to be really cool. And I hope you guys will like that. So it's going to be pretty funny. Definitely for sure. But yeah, that'll be a good one. All right, though. Yeah, I'm gonna end it now. I hope you guys have a great night and have a enjoyable. Hopefully, you're not cold like I am. It's frigid out here. It sucks. But hopefully things will pick up in your area, and if there's any more changes when it comes to rates where Uber is going to allow drivers, or if there's anything new in terms of them being able to do it in different areas or different test markets. I'll let you guys know as well too. Hey, Pops Rideshare dude. So whose fault is that? Yeah, I'm gonna blame the kid. I'm gonna definitely blame the kid. Okay, cool. That's awesome. I'm glad I'm correct on name pronunciations because sometimes it can be very difficult. Um, but yeah, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening or night, depending on where you are in the world, or even morning, because you could be, in Europe or something, or Australia, and it could be daytime. So yeah, have a great rest of your night, and as always, never drink and drive. Always tip your drivers, and we'll see you next time.